Hi everybody, Tori Hartman here, and I would like to welcome you to my video, How to Overcome Negative Self-Talk. You know, actually a lot of people ask me about negative self-talk. It's that inner conversation that brings you and your life to a complete stop. It's one of the things that I think is important to talk about, and I want you to understand a little bit about me. And the way I'm going to work with you is I actually like speaking directly to your intuition, not your brain. So I'm going to invite you to suspend your brain, and I'm going to ask you to listen and watch this video with your intuition. Ready? Now, I've lived it and seen it. People see your life as successful and fulfilling, but you don't feel it because there's something missing. There's that hollowness and emptiness. And it's like if you had that one thing, you'd feel better. And by the way, that can be scary. To point of fact, if you have negative self-talk going on, and it's been going on and on for a long time, you may no longer be aware of the deep-seated beliefs that are on autopilot and instilled in your programming. Remember what I said about beliefs in another video, that they're all fear-based? Well, if they're fear-based, why would you want to change them? It's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, right? Because when you're in your knowing, you know. Now, let's look at the feelings that have been created inside that determine what your life looks like. These feelings linger and form the basis for your autopilot responses. What I mean is that no matter how you start out, you're always going to wind up in that same place. Look, don't fill your brain with this. There's more info about this in my free ebook, 3 Roadblocks You Must Encounter on the Way to Your Destiny. So I don't want you to get stopped by the things I'm saying. Ready? Okay. Let's look at how negative self-talk plays out in your life without you even being conscious of it. Have you ever wondered how to close the gap between mind chatter and messages from your own soul? Listen, for some of us, the gap has grown so huge that we have no idea how to trust ourselves. Maybe you've even sought outside help from an expert, but never really seemed to get what you wanted. Does everything kind of feel like a temporary fix? I mean, I think that's the question. At this point, you may be beginning to feel like you're running out of time. You may even feel that there's no time or money to do what you love. That is something I hear a lot. If only I could afford it, you know? But if you or a loved one got sick and there was a cure and all you needed was money, you'd find it, right? Listen, the bottom line is you deeply want to trust your intuition, but you really don't know how. Your life is behind an 8 ball. Let me tell you something. If any of this resonates with you, you're in the right place. You have within your reach the ability to really have what you desire. Even if you don't know consciously what it is right now, or you do, great. Listen, our inner reality reflects our outer reality. That means, and consider this, what if getting what you really want can be remarkable? Okay, story time. So years ago, I dated a young man who would ask me what I wanted, and then when I told him, he'd reply, well, once you get that, you won't want it. You'll want something else. And I believed him. I believed that. So you know what I did? I kept myself from getting what I really wanted. I feared that I would be dissatisfied by getting it. Because I've spent my life not really stepping into what I was here to do, I was afraid that if I did it, it wouldn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I spent so much of my time with the idea that I could if I wanted to. And then one day, the pain of going in circles for years finally hit me. I took the parts of my life that I feared, like being forgotten after publishing a book with a major publisher. Then I energetically created a team that wouldn't forget me. But what I wanted, you see, was loving support for my work. Now, let's step into a new reality together. Are you ready? I'd like you to just be with me right now, right? Just be with me. Now, when I say this to you, this isn't, even as I say this, we're in a state right now, okay? We're in a state of possibility. And what I'd like you to do is just suspend your brain. Just let go of what you're thinking. Ready? Now, imagine the wonder of getting exactly what you want and living with it. Drop your shoulders. The feeling of fulfillment that actually comes from living your personal dreams, the view that you want out of that window, the right person sitting next to you. Remember the first crush you ever had? Remember you couldn't wait to get to school? Remember that feeling was like? It was like fear mixed with anticipation. It was desire. You knew what you wanted. Maybe not the entire picture, but the feeling led you forward. Remember that? It's all right. Imagine that now. What would your world look like if you could go from, I don't know, to, I know, being as excited every day as you were during your first love? Having people around you who inspire you, showing up in your life. They just show up to support you. And you know what? That empty feeling gets to be replaced with intuitive inspiration. That's a little different than just inspiration. And you know what the big one is? You no longer take anyone else's pulse to see how you're feeling. Knowing, it's my favorite, that a block is only a suitcase that hasn't been unpacked yet. What if being lost becomes a magical springboard for your answers? See, the unknown is the adventure. And if not now, when? Let me tell you something, and I'm going to pause for a second as I say this. My father was a World War II vet, and he used to say, he had this sign over his desk, and it used to say, remember, life is an adventure to be lived, not a problem to be solved. And I think we live a lot of our lives in the energy of what is the next thing to solve, instead of throwing it all away and going, our intuition is the adventure, right? That's the part of you that will never die. You know, they can put you in the ground, and that intuition, that magic of who you are is going to linger. It stays on. That's the magic of being in touch with you, because you give that to future generations. Okay, so stay with me now, because I'm going to show you in this video an intuitive technique by talking directly to your brain first. Right? I was saying forget your brain. Okay, wait. Through using chakra wisdom, I learned the real secret that when I got what I wanted, dang, I was happy. So a book deal with an amazing publishing team that I adore and adores me, $1 million home, my own recording studio, and am I happy that I created this, having what I want? Yeah, of course. Do I feel fear? Hells yeah. Okay? Now in this moment, we're going to pause, and I'd like you to open your energy. And by the way, if you don't know what that means, just act as if you do. Just be gentle. Breathe. Because in this natural meditative state, I'd like you to open yourself to new ideas. Ready? Now, I'm shifting into your intuition. Positive self-talk always includes others. Negative self-talk can only be achieved alone. That's why your mind is like a bad neighborhood. Don't go in there alone. So stop it. Now, in your rational mind, it made sense in that moment, right? But to trust your intuition, you have to shift the negative self-talk. By the way, I'm saying a lot of things, so it's going to swirl, right? What did I just say? What did she just say? I know it was important. What did she? Forget it. It's not important. What's important is you. In this moment, stay with me. Stay with your own energy right now. If you're comfortable, if you're confused, if you're uncomfortable, be with yourself. Stay in the state. Be with me. Be with you. The only way for me to show you how to shift is to make sure I can get you into the energy of negative self-talk. Breathe. All right? In this moment, as you're feeling that negative self-talk, now hold for one moment. In this state, I want you to go into a state of that negative self-talk. Now, what is that state? Before we move on, hold on, I'm pausing for a moment and I'm saying, negative self-talk is when I don't feel good about me. It's when I'm feeling like I'm not going to get what I want in some way. Now, if you're experiencing that and you're uncomfortable, it's fine. It's fine. You're okay right now. In this state, I want you to try to tell yourself, it's going to change. You're worth it. You're a good person. Do you see how it's actually not working? It's kind of staying as it is. Negative self-talk becomes inconsolable. Breathe. Now, pause. Imagine now that you're backstage. You move the feeling you have. It's okay. I'm going to take you to another place. You're about to go on the Oprah show, right? Any famous host you choose, but I'm going to pick Oprah right now for the sake of this video. Let's stay with Oprah. You're her main guest, and you're about to go on. Notice how you feel. Did your energy shift? Did you notice all of a sudden there's a mixture of fear, anticipation? What am I going to say? Who am I? Now, imagine yourself being introduced, and now you're on the stage with Oprah, and you're telling her something great about what you've done. It can be the birth of your first child. It can be a new puppy. It can be anything that you want to share in this moment. It can be a novel that you've completed energetically, right? It can be what you've accomplished in your mind, what you're looking to do, because remember, things always get accomplished twice. First in your mind, then in reality, right? So you're telling her about it. Now, freeze that moment, come back to me. Do you see how you're energetically sharing and including others? Do you see how that shifts? See, when we imagine negative things about ourselves, we don't share it, right? You're not going to go on Oprah and say, I feel so down. It's like negative is ours alone. We're alone with it. See, this is a very important piece of the puzzle that begins to help us unravel our life purpose. Now, in my next video, I'm actually going to show you the 3 consequences of ignoring your intuition. I'm going to see you then. But in the meantime, I'd like to hear actually, and I'd like you to share with me what your experience is with self-talk. How did this go for you today? Let us know in the comments below so I can get to know you, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.